3D history welcomes you. It is never pleasant to speak of the decline of a great civilization like Roman Empire, which moved from a republic to a monarchy and finally into despotism. But that is history, and we must respect. Yet, how ironic it is that the mortality rate of its emperors, while still in power, was higher than almost any other in history. Below is the list of the Western Roman emperors, from Augustus to Romulus Augustulus. From Augustus to the Antonines, the rise in the Golden Age. Augustus is often seen as the founding genius of the empire. He restored peace after civil war, inaugurating the famous Pax Romana, yet also laid the foundation for despotism. Tiberius, though capable and disciplined, soon degenerated into suspicion and cruelty. Withdrawn to Capri, he became a gloomy tyrant. Caligula marked the descent into grotesque excess. Madness, cruelty, and vanity made his short reign infamous. Claudius, an unlikely scholar, surprised with his administrative competence and his conquest of Britain, though his weak character left him prey to intrigue. Nero, more artist than statesman, indulged in spectacle and crime. The Great Fire of Rome and the persecution of Christians became symbols of a decayed moral order. The Flavian dynasty restored order after civil war. Vespasian, frugal and simple, embodied the virtues of a soldier rising from obscurity. Titus, remembered as the delight of mankind, ruled briefly but kindly, presiding over the tragedy of Vesuvius and the triumph of the Colosseum's inauguration. Domitian, however, reverted to tyranny, cold and suspicious, murdered when fear outweighed loyalty. The Nerva-Antonine dynasty formed the empire's golden age. Nerva was wise enough to adopt a successor, inaugurating a system of meritocratic succession. Trajan, the soldier emperor, expanded Rome to its greatest extent and ruled with justice. Hadrian, traveler and builder, pulled back from overextension, consolidating with walls and fortresses. Antoninus Pius presided over peace and stability almost without parallel. Marcus Aurelius, philosopher on the throne, embodied virtue, writing his meditations amidst campaigns on the Danube. Yet Marcus committed one fatal error. He left power to his son Commodus. The turning point, Commodus and the Severns. With Commodus, the decline began. Vain, decadent, and violent, Commodus fancied himself Hercules reborn, fighting in the arena while neglecting governance. His murder left the throne to be auctioned by the Praetorian Guard. Pertinax, an honest reformer, could not withstand the soldiers' greed and was slain after only 3 months. Didius Julianus bought the empire like a piece of merchandise, an outrage to Roman dignity. Septimius Severus, rising from Africa, proved a strong general but weakened the Senate and drained the treasury. His son Caracalla granted citizenship to all free men of the empire, not out of magnanimity but to expand the tax base, and is remembered for cruelty. Macrinus, a mere official, was quickly overthrown. Elagabalus scandalized Rome with eccentric cults and debaucheries, while Severus Alexander, gentle and well-meaning, was despised by the army and murdered. His death in 235 ushered in what became an age of military tyrants. The crisis of the 3rd century, an empire in anarchy between 235 and 284, Rome endured half a century of chaos. Emperors rose and fell at the whim of the legions, often reigning only months before assassination. This period marked the nadir of imperial dignity, the empire in the hands of soldiers with neither legitimacy nor stability. Maximinus Thrax, a giant soldier of humble birth, ruled by brute force. Next are short emperor, including Gordian I, Gordian II, Cupienus, Balbinus, especially Gordian III, a boy of 13, was a pawn and perished young. Philip the Arab presided over Rome's millennial games, yet could not check disorder. Decius persecuted Christians, the first empire-wide effort, and fell in battle against the Goths. Trebonianus Gallus and Aemilian were quickly overthrown. Valerian's capture by Persia was the greatest humiliation in Roman history. Gallienus enacted reforms but indulged in luxury, allowing provinces to break away. A few names stood out for praise. Claudius II Gothicus defeated the Goths and died of plague. Quintillus, brother of Claudius II Gothicus, quickly lost the support of the soldiers and was deposed. Aurelian, restorer of the world, crushed the breakaway Gallic and Palmyrene empires, reuniting Rome. Yet his assassination revealed the fragility of even the ablest ruler. The succession of Tacitus, Florianus, Probus, Carus, Numerian, and Carinus blurred into shadows, emperors without legacy, until the rise of Diocletian. Reform and transformation, Diocletian and Constantine. Diocletian was a wise reformer. He recognized that the empire was too vast for one man, and created the Tetrarchy, sharing power among 4 rulers: he, Maximian, Galerius, and Constantius. Diocletian reorganized administration, strengthened defenses, and, most remarkably, abdicated voluntarily to retire to a palace in Dalmatia. Yet his persecution of Christians was a feudal cruelty. Constantine the Great emerged as the most consequential figure of late antiquity. Brilliant in politics and war, he reunified the empire after civil conflict, founded Constantinople as a new capital, and gave Christianity state sanction. This was a double-edged sword. Constantine ensured stability, but by binding church and state, marked the decline of Rome's civic spirit. The triumph of Christianity became the victory of faith over reason in the Roman world. Next was a period of chaos, with many emperors competing for territory in the Western and Eastern Roman Empire: Constantius II, Julian, Jovian, Valentinian I, Valens. The final centuries, from Theodosius to Romulus Augustulus. Theodosius I, last ruler of a united empire, was praised for military skill, but criticized for suppressing paganism and enforcing Christian monopoly. After his death in 395, the empire was permanently divided. In the west, the decline accelerated. Honorius was inept, presiding over the sack of Rome by Alaric's Visigoths in 410. Valentinian III was a puppet, his court dominated by generals like Aetius, the last of the Romans, who checked Attila but could not save the empire. The 5th century saw a parade of weak or short-lived emperors. Petronius Maximus, slain as Vandals, entered Rome. Avitus deposed after a year. Majorian, Livius Severus, Anthemius, Olybrius, Anthemius, and Glycerius, mere puppets of barbarian generals. Amid this decay, Majorian stood out as a final bright light. Energetic and reform-minded, he sought to revive Rome's fortunes, but betrayal ended his efforts. Anthemius, educated and supported by the East, was undone by civil strife. Julius Nepos retained nominal recognition, but ruled in exile. Finally, Romulus Augustulus, a boy emperor placed on the throne by his father Orestes, was deposed by Odoacer in 476. His fall was more symbolic than real. Power had already passed to barbarian kings and generals. The Arc of Rome is a reminder of both the greatness and the fragility of human institutions. In the next clip, we will continue to explore the Eastern Roman Empire. If you find this content interesting, please like, comment, and share. Thank you. Bye and see you.